What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to my channel. I've got an automation that I put together that I want to take you through, and it's a client onboarding automation. And basically this is a high ROI process automation, and businesses who have similar processes to this should definitely implement it. And I'll take you step by step through it. Basically, the benefits of having something like this in place would be that it would save you hours of manual work. It will notify your team members right away when there is a new client that's onboarded. It will delight your customers or clients because you're going to send them a welcome pack, link to next steps, maybe some document with value in it right away, immediately, basically, as soon as they onboard. And basically by doing so, you're going to increase your retention rate. So let's go through this automation and I'll take you step by step. Let's just look at it overall and then I'll go into detail of how things work. Basically, if you have an onboarding form of any kind, type form, Google Forms, or anything, the client would fill that out. And let's go through the onboarding form. So this is just like a skeleton. Obviously, your onboarding form would be longer. These are just the bare bone fields that I would need. And then what would happen is you create a message in Slack, and then that would notify your team, right? And what you do after is you create a Google Drive in your, where is it? Okay. In your clients folder. This is one of the tests that I've done. Very creative with business names. But basically this is like your clients folder. And basically what it would do, it would create a separate folder for that specific client automatically. And then all of this is to create a Slack channel name, because Slack channel names have to be in a certain format, cannot have any spaces, cannot have any special characters. And then once you create a channel for that client, then you would create a message that automatically will go into that channel, welcoming them and so on. And this is finally the email that you will send to them with anything that you want. It could be something of value that you want to provide value straight away, so you can send something like that, or it could be just the next steps like a kickoff call or joining the Slack channel and so on. Let's just run the scenario once. Actually, let's just first, what we'll do is we'll just delete everything that's in here and everything that's in here. This way we'll have like a blank slate. And oh yeah, of course there's the monday.com as well. So that, let's just delete that. So let's just go now to our form. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to fill it out by putting in Cool Cats Agency. I'm going to put here my email address so that we can then see what the email is. And then the project can be like automation, right? Okay. So I'm going to submit the form. As I run, it will go through the form, update monday.com, create a message in Slack, and then create a new channel, update the channel with a new message, and then it would send the Gmail email. So let's see. First, let's see monday.com. So I got my Cool Cats Agency. Very cool. And then I got my Google Drive with the Cool Cats Agency folder created. I got my, let's see, where's our Cool Cats Agency? Here we go. If I click on that, then I will have my Slack message that is completely automated. And of course, let's go check Gmail. Good to have you on board, Cool Cats Agency. Very cool. So then we have, hello, how are you? Great to have you on board. Here's some things that you should do next. Here's a calendar link. And then make sure you check out the Slack channel. And then as you click on it, it will direct them straight here. Obviously, they have to join the workspace and everything, but they have the channel URL in there, or you can put a workspace link for them to join the workspace initially. So that is the output of the scenario. Let's go step by step of how we would put this together. So first and foremost, you would create the Google Forms, watch responses. So if you go to the plus here, add Google Forms, click on Google Forms, and then search for watch responses. And that's what you get, right? And then form ID, if you go to the form URL, you will find this long kind of string of characters, and that is your form. So you would copy that from there, then you go to make.com, a lot of M's, and you paste it in there. So basically that's for your form ID. And then you click on save. Next thing is then you want to create an item in monday.com. So So if you go to your search again, and then you do monday.com and talk today, monday.com, and then you can do create an item, click on that, and it will give you this little bubble here. And then what we're going to do is, depending on your naming convention, but the way I've done it is I've taken the company name and the project name and just separated by a dash. So if we go to our Monday, I missed the space there, but you can add the space there in make, but then you would have Cool Cats Agency dash automation. This is a bit vague, but obviously you'd want a more specific, let's say you can onboarding automation, right? So then you can have the client name, and you can have the project as well. Okay, then what do we want to do? Right, and then you select the board ID. Well, if you don't map it, you would have a drop down, and then you can search which board you want to create this item in. And then you can if you want, if you have a specific label for the stage, you can have various things in here. If you want it to be something specific when this item is created, then you can set that there, so that if we go back, so that the label is, and then you have a selection of it, and you can say, okay, I want it to be new. Right, good. And then save. Next thing is to send a message to a specific person. Could be a specific person, or it could be a channel. So in this case, I did a channel. So we're going to send, we have a channel called New Client Onboarded. And as you can see, it says New Client in monday.com, Cool Cats Agency, project is automation. And then this is the link to the monday.com item. So it would open this up. So this is how it works. And the way you can include this monday.com link is in the items that is returned by Monday. Once the item is created, is the item ID. So you can append this item ID into this URL. So I'll show you. If you go here and if you open this up, this is going to have, if you do copy item link, if we come to here, this is the item ID. So if we go back to make, if I paste this in here, this is my item ID. So if you can see, this is 19614 this is it, 19614 So what you want to do is every time you're going to have a new item, you want that ID to be different. So you're going to just delete the ID that's hard-coded, and you're just going to click on ID here. And then the URL will change. So that's what I got. I'm just going to delete that because I've got it already. And I'm going to save. And then the next thing, we're going to iterate through the email address. I should name my layers. Let's rename it. Iterate through email address. Because it's an array, you want to iterate through it and get the first item, basically. So I'm using a get formula. So what you can do is if you type get and then open the bracket, it will turn into the formula here. Then what you do is you go, this is the value itself. So that's not the array. So what you want to do is you want to pick the array itself, which has the square brackets, right? So if you click on answers, and then if you do a semicolon and then 1 and then close bracket, and then what it will do is it will create this kind of formula for you. And then you do save, and then it will get the email address there. Otherwise, it iterates through a few times, even though there is one email address. Next thing is to create a Google Drive folder. Let me just show you quickly where these other modules are in case you don't know. But if you click on Slack and then you do create a message, that's where the create a message module is. And then if you want the iterator, you can just go to the plus sign again and just type iterator. And that will take you to flow control. Just click on flow control and then iterator is there. Google Drive is the same. So if you go to Google Drive, mine is there, you can search for it and then you can say create a folder and then click on that and that will give you this module here. So you're going to choose the path where your folder is located, and this is going to be the parent folder to all the client folders. For the purposes of this video, I have a folder called monday.com clients folder, and that's where I want all my clients folders to be created in. If you need this folder to be shared, you can click yes, and then you can set the permissions there. But then what you want to do is you want to set the folder's name. And what I've done is I have the business name. So you can click on the value here. You can see it says Cool Cats Agency. So you know that that's the name of the agency. So you would click there and that would be the name of your folder. Okay, Next thing is about 1 billion modules to parse the Slack channel name. So the first one will replace all spaces, \s is the pattern, with empty string. So it will replace all spaces with nothing. So it will remove the spaces, right? And then in here, you want to put in what the text is or what the value is that you want to remove the spaces of. And that would be our business name. So if you go to the Google Forms answers, then you will find the name of the business here, and then click on value, and that would remove all the spaces. So what it's done, if you can see in the answer here, or in the result, the output, it's the same name, but without any spaces. Okay, the next thing is, it's gonna lowercase everything. So what you do is, this is the pattern that is like text. You will lower it. Here actually it doesn't have to be a text parser. You can just use like a set variable. So what you could do is just go to tools, set variable, and then what you could do is, gotta connect it, of course, right? Okay, that's all right. We can connect it. Then what you could do is lowercase name, and you can take this parsed text without the spaces. You can do lower, open a bracket, and then close bracket. So if you save it, this will do exactly that. But actually, it's a simpler way to do it because there's less fields, right? But I already have this one. I'm just going to keep it. And then the next one, it's going to remove anything that's not alphanumeric. So which means if there's any special characters, it will remove them. So what you want to do is just set the pattern, which is A to Z lowercase, A to Z capital, and then 0 to 9. So alphanumeric, basically. And then you put in the text from the previous module, which is the lowercase Cool Cats Agency. You put in this text here and then press save. The way that this match pattern, this match alphanumeric pattern will output the result is literally every single character is going to be a separate collection or a separate bundle, right? What you want to do is combine it all into one word, one string that you can then use. The way you can do it is through a text aggregator, and that's in tools. So you can actually click on tools here and do text aggregator. And then when you click on that, you will get this guy. And the source module is going to be this module here, match alphanumeric pattern. And then you want this text here. You want this one here, fallback match. And it's only going to show you the first bundle item, which is C from Cool Cats, the C. And basically it's going to iterate through all the bundles in here and then combine it all into one. So that's what you do here, and the output is a nice Cool Cats Agency all together. Super. Now what we're going to do is we're going to limit the characters. So if the Slack channel can be the name can be up to 80 characters. And so if it's longer, then it's going to throw an error. So what you want to do is you want to get the substring, which is a part, substring is a part of the new channel name here. So if I hover over this, this is going to kind of be highlighted. So that's what you want to put in here. So the way that you want to do it is type substring. Oops, open the bracket. I need to be able to spell it first. Substring, open bracket. And basically it's going to tell you exactly what you need to do. So you're going to put in the word that you want the substring of, and then semicolon. And then the starting position, 0 would be the first, semicolon again, and then the ending position. So from 0 to 79, that's 80. So that's what we want, from 0 to 79 for this text right here. That's going to output either the full name or a kind of cropped name, depending on the number of characters. And then that's what you're going to feed into this Create Slack channel. And you can set it to be private or not. So again, you would go into Slack, create channel, create a channel, and then you would find this limits character to 80 text here, and then you put that in there, map that in. And then the next thing, you're going to create a message. What you will do is when this channel is created, it's going to output a channel ID, and that's what you want to use. So you want to set where you're going to display this message, which is going to be in this channel right here that you just created. And then here, you can either put in text or blocks. So if you put text, and if you put a lot of text, I would suggest that you kind of mark it down and create paragraphs and maybe headings and things like that. So there's a really good tool to do this, and it's called Block Kit Builder. And what you do is just, there's different sections here that you can add in. But what I usually do is I would just, this is like a template. And what I would do is I just delete parts that I don't want and keep the parts I do want. So, you know, you can just play around with it. And if you want to add an image or links and things like that, so you know that this template will have it, and then you can keep the links or keep whatever items you want and then delete everything else. And then what you could do then is copy paste this whole thing. Once you're done with it, once you've put in your own content, you can go back to make.com and then you can paste the code in here. And this is how you can get like a really nicely formatted. So this one doesn't have any block text, so it's just like a line. But if you have like a really long message, then you kind of want it broken down into paragraphs and things. So this is when this comes in. Then the last stage really is sending the email, which is a Gmail module. So if I go to Gmail and then send an email, that would be the module that I'm using here. And for the email address, I'm going to go and get the email that I iterated through. So it's going to be this value right here. Is that the one? Yes. Iterate through email address. Right. So it will be the value here. So you can click on that. That will be the email address. And then the subject, you can personalize it by having their company name in the subject, or you don't have to. And you can then create your message here. You can add links or attachments or anything else you want. And here I included the Slack channel name that was created. And the way that you can just add in the channel link is to map out the channel ID. So similarly to what we did previously with, what did we do it on? Yeah, the Monday link. So similar to this, you can do the Slack channel name. So the way that you can do it is you can go to, on the web version of Slack, if you go to, like, that's our new channel. So if you go to that and grab the URL, and if we bring it back here, and I have it already there, but you can see that this bit here, the last kind of part, that is the Slack channel ID. If I go back to make and I enter in here, if I go back, create channel, where is that? Yep. So it's C08SNR and that matches here. So what you do is you delete that, that's hard coded, and you just click on channel ID there. And that would create the link to your channel ID. And then you click on save, and there you have it. That is our very lovely automation that will really cut down on the manual tasks and the hours that you have to spend to do all of this manually. It's really simple, and I think every business that has this sort of process or even similar to this should implement an automation like this. And I hope you enjoyed the video. So like, subscribe, and all that good stuff. I'll see you next time. Bye.